feeling unloved does not make you weak. It makes you human. It happens to all of us.
That's true.
Every relationship goes through seasons where connection feels off, but it's what you do in those seasons that matters.
Hey, Mr. Friends, welcome back to another episode of the Massage Podcast, where we keep it real about love, marriage, and everything in between. I am your girl, your host, Cece. As always, forevermore, I have my amazing co-host / husband. Babe, what's up?
I'm good.
Okay, what's going on?
Hey, this is Will. Welcome back, everybody. We're so glad you're tuning in. If this is your first time joining our podcast, this is a weekly podcast where we keep it real, we keep it relatable, and we come to you every Saturday.
That's right. And this is the last Saturday of May. Okay?
June is here.
Where did May go?
June
all right?
is here.
Where did May go? Well, May was busy for us. We had an event every weekend.
Yes.
Every weekend.
I don't know what we're doing today.
Listen, today we're resting. The last Saturday of the month, okay? We are resting. I think.
We need that rest.
I think, but if my client called me and says, hey, I need to see a property, I'm going to be like, okay, let me know what time and where, and I'll be there. But otherwise, I need to take this one off.
I'm with you on that. Now, before we get into the topic of the day, as always, we'd like to share our blissful moment with you. Now, that's either something we did, or something that happened to us, or something that we're looking forward to doing.
Yeah.
So what was your blissful moment?
Well, speaking of, nothing happened to us on Memorial Day. We actually rested. Although we talked about on the podcast last Saturday that we're going to grill, we're going to go out.
But listen, we had a long weekend. We spent all day out on Saturday after we filmed the podcast.
You're right. And all day out
We
Sunday.
went to church on Sunday. We went to the early mass.
Early.
So we had to wake up the kids at like 6:30. No, 6 o'clock actually. Because I had to stream the mass. So we had to be at church by 7:30. Which we did. They got me to church on time.
We got you to church 5 minutes before time, okay?
And then we had to go to that party at the end.
And we had to.
So yeah, it was a busy weekend. But yes, I'm glad that I had that day off. So I rested.
We did nothing on that day. We actually felt like a day off for you.
It was a day off.
Who you happened to be a part of. Of course, the kids were off. It's Memorial Holiday, but we didn't really do anything. We actually didn't go anywhere. This man didn't step outside at all.
I didn't need anything outside.
I thought you were going to go to Home Depot, but he said, you know what? Forget Home Depot, forget grilling, forget everything else. We're supposed to go out. Forget everything, y'all. He's like, I'm staying in.
I was tired.
I'm staying in. But, you know, I think lately those holidays are more like, man, I feel like, here's the thing. I feel like when you have kids and you are in your, you know, your millennials age, right? You don't really want to party and grilling. You just want to rest.
Well,
you just want to rest.
You partied the night before.
You just want to rest. I stayed in bed until what, 10 o'clock?
The night before? No,
on Monday.
Oh, on Monday, yes. Mm-hmm. But we got home close to midnight.
It was after midnight.
Yeah, so we got home late.
Yeah.
And we were partying. Well, she was partying.
Party hard.
Right?
Party hard.
So after a day like this, I'm glad that I was off because it would have been like tough for me to get up in the morning.
I agree. Sometimes you need to take a day where you do nothing. And I think sometimes you do need that. And I feel like it's the same thing's going to happen in July 4th where he's going to take a day and do nothing.
We're going to the beach.
We'll see.
But I say that to everybody, if you can take a day and do nothing, rest a little, it's important. Listen, we live busy life. Our weekends, yes, we've gone to many gatherings.
Live busy life, yeah.
But throughout the whole week, I work. She works.
Yeah.
She's got the kids. And sometimes that's more work than I do.
Yeah.
So when you have a moment you can take a day off, she normally takes her Sundays off.
Yeah, but
this Sunday she couldn't.
Yeah.
When you can take a moment to relax a little bit, chill, it helps. Now, you can't be chilling all the time.
You can't be chilling all the time.
You're grown people. You got responsibilities.
You have responsibility. You have
but
children, husband.
You can take a day, especially on a holiday, relax a bit.
Yeah.
And that's what we did on Monday.
That's what we did.
It was good. Anyway,
it was great.
Let's get into the topic of the day. Today's episode, we're talking about something so many people feel but don't always say out loud.
Listen.
What happens when you feel undesirable in your own relationship? Not out in the world, though. not on social media, but in your own house.
Listen.
With the person who's supposed to see you most.
Oh, my
Right?
goodness.
What happened?
I hear you.
Because, we're not talking about, physical desire. We mean emotionally, mentally and spiritually.
Yes.
When you feel unseen.
Unchosen.
Or even ignored sometimes.
Listen, baby.
Listen, this is for anyone who's ever asked, what happened to us?
What happened to us?
This episode is for you.
Listen, whenever I hear what happened to us, I know someone is not putting the work. If I said to you, baby, what happened to us and something's wrong.
That means there's a lot of things that used to happen that's not happening.
And let's be real for a second, right? This doesn't always start with a big argument or some dramatic moment, right?
Sometimes it sneaks in on you.
It does.
It
does. I don't know where you feel like your partner stopped.
They don't see you anymore.
They don't see you anymore. They just, they don't say, I love you the way they used to say it. Things change, right? Or maybe they don't even say it at all. Like some partner don't even say, I love you.
And for some people, are touchy-feely people. Like if I go around and I don't touch CC, that there's a problem.
There's a problem. I'm like, hey, you didn't smack me.
Right? Or maybe the little compliments. I know last week we talked about the compliments, as you're getting ready to go to church. That's important.
Yes.
When you notice those compliments are slowly becoming non-existent.
Yes.
Those are signs that something's off.
Something's off. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, we got to be clear. Feeling unwanted doesn't mean your partner does not love you. Listen, we all go through stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes your partner could be going through their own thing.
True.
Could be stress, could be work,
burnout,
could be burnout. And burnout can come in different ways. Sometimes you don't see it. It's what's happening up here.
Yeah, up
and
here is
some people are
depression.
not good at expressing themselves as to what's happening.
Yes, that's
and
true.
some of us, we think we can fix things on our own. Whatever's boiling up here, we think that we can handle it. So your partner never get to find out what's happening.
Right.
So there your partner sitting there thinking that, okay, you're ignoring me, you're not seeing me, you're neglecting me. But in fact, we're fighting our own demons.
Yeah, on battles.
And this is where you find you start pulling back, and it's not meant to be, but it does happen. And when it happens, it affects the relationship. You find the other people would start feeling invisible to you, and that never ends well.
That's true. And I truly feel like, as we talk in the podcast a lot, we don't want to put this whole thing on social media, but let's not act social media don't have anything to do with it, right?
Oh, yes.
Social media has a lot because we comparing, right?
It's unfortunate people compare.
We comparing our life with other. We see couples posting, date nights and beautiful gifts on their birthday and, the cute stuff. And you start looking at your husband or your spouse sideways, like, what's going on? Why aren't you doing this stuff for me? And I think sometimes you don't get me wrong. We have a reason for looking at you sideways and said, why aren't you doing these things? Yeah, because I see them on social media. I see them when I'm scrolling on my weekend. I see them, but I don't say that because I know my partner, right? Yes.
And this is where you got one thing I think a lot of us we got to start doing is look at things for what they are. Right? Because we all have our own journey.
Right.
And sometimes we forget that your relationship is unique.
Yeah.
Where you are with your partner is unique. What other people are doing should not have any bearing. However, it's never an okay thing where you don't do things for your partner.
Right.
And that typically happens when your partner starts seeing those things. Yes, if you're not doing them, maybe you should do something.
Yeah.
Because listen, our ladies like stuff.
Yes, we do.
I like stuff. And if they see it, that may trigger some emotion, but that's no reason to start having issues in the relationship. That may be a good opportunity to start bringing up some conversation. Because we compare what we're living with what they're posting.
True.
And I'd say instead of comparing, maybe bring it up to your partner. Hey, we used to do this.
Yeah.
Can we start doing this again?
Right.
You used to do this. This is how much I appreciate. Not take the picture and go stick it on his face and says, you see what they doing?
Yeah.
You should be doing that. No.
Well, listen, there's women out there who would do that to the partner, if we're being honest. Like, I have my phone right here, you guys. And they're like, see,
you need to do that.
Why aren't you doing this for me and for us? They'll do that. They'll do that to make their partner feel some type of way. And I'm one of those people where I don't compare what I have.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlier, we have a unique life. We all different. And I don't put pressure on you to do things because so-and-so is doing certain things for their partner. I always believe that we work well together. If I mention something to my husband, of course, he's going to work on it. It doesn't happen overnight. This happens, multiple times. Me saying it over and over again because I know he's not a mind reader, right? I sometimes want him to be a mind reader, but then over the years, been married for 15 years, I realized that
I cannot develop those skills.
Not. You know how when you try and you expect him to be that way and he's just not. Some people are just not mind readers. They want you to be like upfront with them.
And listen, that's something I don't think I'll ever get it. Now that doesn't mean I don't try to pick up on clues. I do, but I believe in this. If something is important, it needs to get fixed, or there's something that you need me to start doing. Just tell me. Just
saves
say that. Us the aggravation, right?
Yeah, and I think it's so important for you not to stay quiet. For some women out there who may feel like, you're feeling unloved or unwanted. Yeah. Don't stay quiet. Just speak to your spouse. Speak to your man and say, hey, listen, babe, we gotta talk. And be ready to hear me.
Yeah, and what I said to the guys is that, hey, listen, a lot of us weren't taught to express our love beyond showing up or beyond providing.
Right.
So your girl might be feeling unloved and you thinking, I'm here every night. But remember, presence does not always equal emotional connection. Just because you there, that doesn't mean your partner is getting everything they need from you. Yeah. Sometimes you got to engage them in those small talk. Yeah. Sometimes you got to sit and rub their feet every night, even if your hands are hurting.
Listen, sometimes as far as for me, I just want to lay there and just chill, either watch a movie, but I want his presence. I want him to know that I don't want you to fall asleep, because you falling asleep is going to irritate the heck out of me, okay? And I want you to be present. Being fully present is so important, but I feel like sometimes it's hard for you to.
She wants to be awake and be there and feel me breathing.
Yes, a lot of us ladies want our man.
When I doze off, I snore. The other day, the kids give me a reenactment of what I sound like. I hope that I don't sound that way.
Baby, she literally sound exactly how you sound when you're asleep.
That loud. Okay. Then I can see why you get irritated if I do.
Well, yes. Even watching a movie, he'll fall asleep. And I'm like, no, babe, we watching a movie, you're falling asleep. It's basically me watching a movie by myself when you're not there. You're not physically there.
Yeah, but the presence is important. It's important. But you know what? Sometimes some people don't even realize that they are feeling unwanted, nor do they realize that their partner is feeling unwanted.
Right.
So, and sometimes what it looks like is sometimes they just avoid having conversation with each other, right? Yeah. Sometimes the initiating intimacy is just not there.
Right.
They're laying together, but no one is taking the first step to do something.
Listen, we talked about this last week, and if you haven't watched that, go watch.
Yeah, check it out. The link is somewhere up there.
It was very juicy. It was very, very juicy.
Or sometimes one person's always planning, but the other person is always checked out.
True.
So, and that's where you got to pay attention to what's happening in your relationship, because you could be feeling unwanted, but don't even realize that that's what's happening. There's little behaviors that are happening around your relationship in terms of how you do things. Yeah. But some of those things may be a result of how you're feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you feel like, you not living with your partner. You feel like roommates. Yeah. Right? You feel like roommates. Like there's a lot of things that you can't do. You walking on eggshells or trying to get their attentions.
Oh, some people gets creative on the way they try to get attention. Now I can understand, maybe dressing up, put on some makeup so they can notice you. And any man should notice your woman if they go in that extra mile. What sometimes I don't get, sometimes people will pick up a fight with you just so they can get noticed.
Well, you gotta see me. So if I have to put a fight with you, then we're gonna fight.
Yeah, but I like the fact that there are some efforts sometimes that are being put forth.
Is the word. Yes.
And I encourage every couple, if you notice things are not quite there, do your best. Now, I don't think picking up a fight is the best way to go about it.
More like an argument, right?
Even that, because that can get heated up and people can get in their own feelings and they can say the wrong thing.
I agree.
But if that's what it takes for your partner to realize that you're there, then by all means, do it in a way that's constructive.
Leave the house for a couple hours. They'll notice that you're not there.
Or they can start thinking you're doing something that you shouldn't shouldn't be doing.
Okay, then don't do
See,
that.
It depends, and you know your person.
Yeah,
If there's things you need to do to get their attention, do it. But do it in a way that's gonna help build the relationship as opposed to destroying it. Right. So, one thing with problems, they don't age well. If you ignore it long enough, it gets worse.
It
Sure does. If you ignore your partner trying to get attention, and you just keep ignoring it, it'll turn into emotional detachment. And that's dangerous.
Yes.
Right? That's when people start feeling emotionally checked out of the relationship. And you'll find that they're there, but physically they're not there.
Yeah.
And that's when that relationship start going down that road to destruction, literally.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's so important for you to know how to rebuild love. In order for you to rebuild the love and reconnect with your partner, you gotta communicate with your man or with your woman, because communication is everything, you guys, everything. And I think a lot of us sometimes we're afraid to communicate with our partner because we're afraid of hurting, our partner's feelings, or I'm very sensitive. I'm very sensitive.
For someone who's direct, she is sensitive.
I am. I'm very sensitive, but I can hold a conversation.
Yes, and then there's ways that you can do this to make it constructive. Like, for instance, maybe you can say, "Hey, listen, I don't feel too close to you lately. I miss you, right?
I miss us. I miss us hanging out. I miss us having the time."
Yeah. So you can present it in a way that's non-combative.
Right.
A way that's not putting the person on the spot, but still communicate the right message.
Yeah, we're not talking about arguing with your partner, right? When we talk about communication, we want you to know that.
Some people, they think you mean screaming and yelling. No, we're talking about having a talk with your partner where you can really explore the things that are important.
Correct.
And sometimes it may sound like this, I love you, but I feel like we've been off lately. I feel distant from you. I need us to reconnect.
That's
what can we do?
Rekindle.
Now that's not me pointing fingers and says, "Hey, listen, you're wrong for doing this." No, that's me saying that I realize something is not quite there.
Yes.
What can we do together?
Yes.
Because and that's what people got to remember. When you're in a relationship, your goal is to build.
Yeah.
Not to destroy.
Yes.
But I know it's a lot easier pointing fingers than taking responsibility. Yes, it's very easy to say, "Cece, you didn't do that."
Yeah, and here's the thing about our relationship here, if I can share a few things, is that when it comes to our relationship, we're not perfect, right? We're not perfect. We really have our moment. We had one last week, as a matter of fact. We had our moment.
Just not saying anything.
We had our moment, but we learned to communicate with each other. Some people may see us as, "Oh my God, Sissy and Will they're the perfect couple. They're the power couple." Let me just say this.
Some people like to keep their silence until they feel like talking.
Well, let me just say this. No, but what I'm saying is sometimes you have your moment. We have our own issues, but we know how to solve or how to communicate with each other. Where I don't point fingers. And I think when you and I would communicate, we communicate to understand each other.
Yes.
Not communicate just to just you talking and the other one don't want to hear you. It's more like I'm talking to you and you hear me out, vice versa. You talking and I'm hearing you out. And then we find a way to resolve the problem. And I think a lot of us need that, and I think you have to get intentional about ways of communicating and ways of loving each other.
Yes. That doesn't mean we agree on everything.
No.
Let me just get this right. In fact, there are times that I'm like, I hear you.
Yeah.
But I still disagree. Right. We're not going to fight about it.
Right.
But I hear you.
Yes.
I would have done it differently. So we have this conversation where we can be honest with each other, but in no way beat each other up.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean. When you need to rebuild, start with communicating. And I know this podcast, yes, you're right. We mentioned communication a whole lot. But problem solving, always start with communication.
Yeah.
I know earlier you mentioned you have to be intentional. And that's important. So when you approach this, you have to be. And you got to ask questions. And questions like, what makes you feel wanted?
Yes. What helps you feel loved?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And sometimes it may be, physical touch.
I'm a physical touch person and words of affirmation person. So
the compliment, she loves that.
I am.
Right? So be open to share with your partner what makes you feel loved.
Yes. And it's good to know. It's good to know because at the end of the day, I want to feel loved and you want to feel loved, right?
Yeah.
And I think we have to understand this because at a point of my life where I was more like very closed in, not sharing, not say things. But then I realized that it was hurting me. Okay. It's hurting me because he doesn't know what's wrong with me. Like in a way, like you'll do whatever you have to do. You do anything to make me happy. But I think it was so important for me to say, you know, babe, I don't like this and that way. You know, this will make me feel happy or make me feel better. I didn't open up to you. I didn't feel more like
we get to the like very minute details. Like there's certain way that I hold her hands. She wants it done a certain way, right? And she's had to remind me. But now I remember if I'm holding her hands, I gotta hold it a certain way. Yeah. Just like so there's things that I used to do. I know just earlier she was telling me. Because sometimes I used to just pick up her thumb while we're driving and I just go a little bite like this.
Yeah, biting it, yeah.
And obviously she liked it.
I did.
I haven't done it in a very long while. But obviously she liked it. So we get to the very, very minute details.
Yeah, and those are the things that's important to me.
And I do my best to remember them.
Yeah, you do.
Sometimes I miss them, but you know, she's a forgiving woman.
I'm very much so.
But it's important to be very specific.
Yes, I agree.
Very specific with your partner when you're stating what makes you feel loved.
Yes.
Right? Because not all of us feel loved the same way.
I agree.
Like sister, like this little things. Me, I don't know. I'm good with anything.
You are good with anything. That I got to give it to you. You are good with anything. I'm one of those people. I'm a thoughtful person. Like I am a thoughtful person. Like I want you to think some things and then make me feel like, oh my God, baby, I didn't think you were going to do that. You know, kind of girl.
Hey, I take this back. As long as respect is there, I'm good. I think that's the one thing.
I agree.
I like my respect because I give it and I like my respect.
You do.
Yes.
You do like your respect.
Do anything, but don't disrespect me.
That's true.
Yeah, so, but we all feel love different ways. Mm. Some people needs to hear stuff. Some people needs to feel stuff.
Some people needs help around the house.
Some people need help around the house.
Oh, you know, with the kids. Some people needs help with the kids.
But you'll only find out what it is by asking questions. You know, leave no details out. Yeah. Share it all. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, your partner will know exactly what needs to get done.
I agree.
You know, and if you're a partner, you're hearing this, don't get defensive though. Don't. Because I know some people, the moment that they said we got to do something, they start saying, no, we don't do this. And then there's no, don't get defensive. Mm-hmm. Listen and try to understand. Because at the end of the day, I think if we're doing the right thing for the relationship, we all benefit.
True.
You know, and remember, you got to remember also, love isn't about how you give it. Mm-hmm. It's about how the other person receives it.
That's a good one.
Because you could be doing something and think like you're doing the best thing, but that person could be receiving it differently.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I agree.
So know that. And the only way you'll know if this person is not getting it right or if it's something that they don't quite like, but just because you've been doing it, they kind of tolerate it. Mm-hmm. Talk about it.
Talk about it. Yeah. Listen, this is why sometimes you got to hit the reset button, okay?
Let's start over.
You gotta hit the reset button. Like if you feel like your relationship is being kind of like wacky, where things being like off, the energy is off, the vibe is off. I mean, it's the same thing, but everything is just off. Just hit the reset button. You can always reset.
Sometimes we've start conversations over.
You can always restart. Let's rewind this, okay? Let's take it back to where we started. Let's start doing a date night again, okay? Let's turn off the phones and let's go by the beach and walk and talk with each other and have a good time. Leave the kid at home or with the grandma, you know, find a babysitter. You know, talk to each other again about each other, right? Talk about you two again and ask the questions, you know, you used to ask when you were first getting to know each other.
Yes, man, we got to take it back. Take it back to when you were first dating and do things. I get my old car and come and pick you up at your parents.
Not that back.
Not that back. But you can take it back. There's little things that maybe you used to do.
Yes.
Maybe go back. Maybe you'll go to the closet, you find some skimpy clothes that your wife used to wear way back.
Okay.
But you can do these little things. Because at the end of it, I think when it comes to resetting, sometimes you can take it to a point that may seem silly now.
Right.
But those can take us back in moments where we can relive that moment. And believe me, nostalgia is not always a bad thing. If we can go back and relive certain moments of our lives.
Right.
Believe me, we can make a lot of changes.
If we would go back, where would you go?
I'll go back to picking you up at your parents and hanging out in the front porch and chilling by the pool where my car got egged once. And I was at Cece's place way back. Typically, I would go to her place and we kind of hang out by her place because her parents kind of like, you're not going out late. And at least my parents knew where I was.
Yeah.
It was Halloween night. Man, I went in. My car was like messy with eggs.
Yeah, it was really bad.
I had to wash the car when I got
It was
home
really
that
bad.
night.
It really got you
I
that
know,
night.
but they're like, man, this guy's been parking here. We're gonna
Yeah,
get
he's
him.
been coming here,
They
messing with my
must
woman.
have wasted a couple of cartons of eggs on my car.
The kid was checking your woman out, but they like had to get you somehow.
But yeah, if I could go back, I'll go back to those really early days where I pick you up, we go to a movie, and by 8:30 we're back home because we couldn't stay out late.
Your girl had curfew, okay? I had a curfew, 9 o'clock.
but there's little things you can do to take
I was
you
in
back.
college, but still I had a curfew. My mom, my daddy would not let me stay out late unless if it's like, at a party at the church party.
Yes.
But
they'll be there too anyway. Party.
And don't blame me for being the person that I am. It's because of how I was raised. Okay. I don't want people to blame me, to put it like, I'm too goody two shoes or I'm so perfect. I'm not. It's just the way you were raised have a major impact on how your future life is. Seriously.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes,
it really does.
absolutely.
It really does.
But there's a lot of value in taking a step back and reset things.
Yes.
Because that allows you to get a fresh start.
Yes.
Or at least a make-believe fresh start.
I agree. I truly, deeply believe in start over. If you feel like things been kind of wacky, take a vacation if you have to.
Yeah.
Go out of town, go on a 3-day cruise and get your spark back on.
Get out of the environment. Anything that helps you feel different.
Yes. Take a vacation. If you can't do 3 days, do one night out. Sometimes it's good to just stay in a hotel for just one night.
Even if it's local.
We've done it.
When you get to be in a place where you've had all type of arguments, all type of craziness, you get complacent in being in that place. If you can be out there for just a few days, it does help. Now, if you get to a place your problem gets so deep that you can't fix it. Now, at that point, therapy is not too bad of an idea.
Yeah.
So, couple counseling can make a big difference.
Absolutely.
And I recommend anyone, if you get to the place where you feel unwanted and you've tried different things don't work, together, not one, together, seek help.
And I'll say, don't wait until things fall apart.
No.
If you notice there's something going on, you feel like things are a little bit off, it's good to start communicating first. Yeah. And then if things got, a little bit crazy, hectic, then seek professional help. Yeah,
it's important because at the end of the day, if you let that relationship get to a certain point, you may not be able to save it or salvage it. So
I agree.
The moment that you feel like, man, it's going that wrong direction and there's nothing in my power that I can do to make a change, get some help.
Listen, while you're seeking help, I'm always going to talk about my God here, okay? Listen, I can't talk about love without talking about God's love, okay? You're seeking help. Professional help, of course, but God's love, listen, when we feel like, unwanted by our people, our husband, our spouse, it's so easy for you to let things go and feel unlovable. And I want to remind you that God doesn't change how he feels about you based on how someone else treats you. Okay. You have to know this. This is something that we all born with. Sometimes we just need that reminder. We just need that someone to remind us.
Absolutely.
God's love is never going to change how he feels about us. We have to make sure that we stay in our Bible, okay? Listen to the word of God.
Yeah, and you're right. You have to remind yourself, obviously, through the words of God that you are loved.
Right.
Deeply and fully and completely, you are loved.
That's right.
And when you're rooted in that trust, you show up differently. We have certain confidence when we know God is on our side. I wear this bracelet that Cece gave me. It says, I am with you always. Right? I wear that with me. She recently gave it to me and I intend to wear it. Hopefully the letters don't fade.
They're not.
You show up differently when you know that God is with you.
Right.
And when you have that confidence, you don't beg for scraps of attention.
Yes.
No, you start expecting love.
Right.
And that reflects on who God says you are. And I encourage everyone, when you run into moments of difficulties, dealing with your relationship, dealing with your children, dealing with life, make sure you give God its moment. Because you can never go wrong with that.
You can never go wrong with that. I agree, because sometimes the healing starts spiritually.
Oh, yes.
Right? You may be waiting on your partner to change, but God might be using this time to change you, right? To teach you how to, speak up and how to value yourself and how to receive his love. And even when, your spouse may fail you. I mean, at some point, they're human. You never know.
And you know what? God could be giving you the strength to show this person how to love.
Yes.
Because, God works in ways that are beyond our understanding sometimes. Right. We just have to be willing and we have to obey.
I agree.
But we got to give God his place
yes.
in our relationship. And that's something that Cece and I, we know where we are. Mm-hmm. Believe me, if we ever run into a place, but we already have the habit of praying together, asking God to be in our relationship and continue to bless us. And obviously, we try to live the best we can according to the words. But if we get to a place where we feel like things are going haywire, believe me, the Bible is coming out. Well, let me just say Bibles. This person has Bible problems.
I do.
She has several different translations.
I
don't know why.
I do.
She has special editions of Bible studies with notes. I don't know why.
I do know why. Only my God and I know
So the Bibles are coming out. It's important to make sure that we give God his place in our relationship.
Yes.
And believe me, you don't ever have to stay stuck in whatever relationship that you're in, whatever moments you are in your relationship.
Right.
You can heal, you can grow, you can change, and your relationship can bounce back stronger.
That's right. So
when you put love, you put faith, you put God, you put communication at the center of your relationship, nothing can get in the way.
I agree. The Bible says, put God first in everything that you do.
Absolutely. So if I can leave you guys with something, it's this. Feeling unloved does not make you weak. It makes you human. It happens to all of us.
That's true.
Every relationship goes through seasons where connection feels off, but it's what you do in those seasons that matters.
That's true.
Don't sit in silence. Like Sissy mentioned earlier, if something's off, just speak about it.
Speak about it.
Don't let the gap grow. Because when you stay in silence and things are not happening, things get worse. I did say it earlier, problems don't age well.
That's true.
If you ignore it, it'll continue to get worse.
That's true.
Start talking about it. Start having conversation. Get the help you need.
Yeah.
Relearn each other. And that's by asking those questions that I mentioned earlier, and most importantly, remember that love is more than a feeling. It's a daily decision.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That's
we
true.
make a choice every day to love the person we love, despite of their faults, despite of their shortcomings, despite of them getting into a mood and it takes you a day to find out why.
That's okay.
We love them and we make that decision every day to love this person.
And when we talk about get help, I just want to touch on that, is to get professional help.
Yeah, definitely. Get the help you need. And this is one way you can show that you're showing up for your partner. If you think help is needed, together, suggest it, recommend it, and help them get. So show up for your partner, even when it's hard.
I agree.
If you still care, if you still want it, don't give up. Remember, God can restore anything when both people are willing, when both hearts are willing to make it happen.
That's right.
Give God the chance and he'll restore you, but you have to be willing.
Yes.
So we talk a lot on this podcast, and I'm hoping that we share enough to help you guys deal with any moments of unloved and feeling unwanted in your relationship. If this episode hit home for you, share it with someone. If you know someone who's dealing with issues like this, I think they need to hear that there's a way out of it.
Yeah.
And please leave us some comments. We want to hear if you've dealt with something like this, if you know someone who's dealing with it, because who knows, your comment may help someone else, but we'd like to hear your thoughts. And share what resonated with you, because I like to keep this conversation going because it allows us to share with each other what's going on. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video because that's how YouTube knows that you guys want to watch more of this. We also want to make sure that you never miss an episode with us. So please, again, subscribe. Until then, everybody, take care. Peace.